It's just a similar shit.
I don't think
Why are y'all just... Why do they dredge up all the Juice World stuff? It's like, I'm sitting up here, look at this new Juice World single. Why?
I'm over this shit. AKA
Olivia.
you don't see me no more. AKA
Okay, 2 weeks notice, nigga.
AKA.
Bye. Sayonara, so long. I'm leaving at you. And all of the other words. I'm leaving. But yeah, this is the Country Destruction Show. It's not even here, but they know what I'm talking about.
Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
The most host, aka Just Charles.
That's true.
Got Zero Cool. Always losing her cool.
Y'all know what I started doing? I refuse to get packages in my name anymore. It's all Zero Cool now. Every time I go order something, it better not say my government name. I don't know why.
See, look at that.
I refuse. I'm like, I don't know that bitch no more. Y'all start interesting.
I have Zero Cool.
I am.
I still can't believe that I couldn't tell that your last name was your actual last name. That was an interesting thing. Oh, when I saw your last name, I thought it was just the name of your store.
Oh.
It was like, but it's literally like your actual last name is just like, oh, that makes it even better.
What? Okay.
I mean,
well, I didn't know anybody knew my last name. Maybe him, but I didn't know anybody else knew my last name.
it was because business stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's just
I
like-
forgot I was in.
Also your
I was in
email.
business with y'all. Like,
I don't
how do y'all know?
She out here giving us money.
Yeah, I guess so.
I forgot what
Like, how you know?
Seeing your money and stuff, so it's like,
Do you?
I guess it don't matter if you forgot it, as long as you're still doing the things you're supposed to be
I
doing.
literally was like, how did you know this information about me?
Like, I bet
Where are you
was
getting
so
this from?
perturbed, like,
Did you see my debit card, you bastard?
why do you know that?
Oh.
Because we're in business together.
I
Oh yeah.
really just I'm like, you see something? I'm like, I ain't even got my name on there. I changed my name. Now it's Vincent Vega on Instagram. I'm about to change it to Bob Barker. I changed my name so much. I don't give a fuck. I don't want you niggas
Stop
knowing
that.
me. Nope, I'm changing it.
Vincent
you don't
Vega?
follow me on Instagram, so you don't know. But I'm gonna change it again to something different.
I mean, if I wanted to, you're making it very difficult. We put your name.
Nah,
we
I'm
put that on the
changing that
side
shit.
of a shirt.
No, it's still gonna say Zero Cool, but you know where I asked for your name at?
Yeah.
It said mine says
Oh, you're
Vincent
talking about your
Vega.
government name.
Yeah, but I put Vincent Vega
Hey yo,
right there.
I'm Dave.
It's gonna change again, y'all. When I log back in, I ain't logged in on that one in a minute though. I don't
They
feel
called
like
me
it.
about
On my
my
other
government.
Instagram, I got mommy long legs. It just, I don't want you niggas know who I am. Fuck y'all.
I mean, you got really long legs, so you're
Yeah.
not lying.
So just fuck it. I have 15 million personas. I don't be giving a fuck.
Persona.
I think I'm gonna cut my phone off.
You gonna cut your phone off?
Which
Anxiety.
Oh.
And that's not, I'm like, thinking about it, just like it being on my mind and being like worried, like, oh, this is gonna be an issue. I'm like,
No, none of that shit is worth it. That's why somebody was like, I can't stay here no more. I honestly can never ever convince nobody that I really respect and care for to stay anywhere. Especially at no fucking job, man. You can get another one. Fuck that.
Picking up your phone should never give you anxiety.
yeah. And that if I did this at that point, I'm like, I'm done.
You don't even interact with technology the same way that you used to.
It was frustrating.
All the things you used to derive fun. Like, when was the last time you played Pokemon of any type?
All I do is like go as I drive to the shithole, and as I drive home from the shithole. That is my interaction.
It's just like, I don't feel like looking at any more screens. I don't feel like looking at people. I don't feel like looking at anything. Fuck everything.
It's trash. That's not where I want to be. So, this episode we're going to talk about pursuing your happiness. As you guys can tell, Tony is not happy.
It's all about
But Tony has a plan to get back to his happiness.
Oh, Pursuit of Happiness would be our outro.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I'm all about searching for some happiness because it ain't here right now. And so I was like, you know what? I could just take a mental break. I'm like, nah, you could just leave.
Take an actual break forever. Tell me you love me.
So yeah, I'm gonna shore up one situation, talk to one person, and then other than that, I'm pretty. Yeah, I don't care. But how are you guys doing in your journeys and your levels of happiness?
Some people are being a bit more codependent than I want them to be, but
Ooh, who? I'm just playing.
just erroneous
Just
people
playing.
that.
Is it a work thing or personal thing?
A little bit of a work thing, bit of a not work thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Trying to get things where I want them to be, because depending upon what happens with Tony, I might try and track down like more of a full-time gig, and then just flush things out for the business. But we'll see what happens with that, and just doing more stuff and doing what I want to do, because like we're working on websites. I might end up starting my own. We might end up starting a development company that's separate from our stick, but that's a whole bunch of other stuff. But we got a whole bunch of stuff on the table, and I'm just trying to square down one thing at a time. And some people are getting really in the way of doing that.
I want us to sit down and do our 2020 goal list sometime in the next week or so.
We need a dry erase board.
That's true.
That could be something we could.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that's definitely not like wildly out there or anything. That's like $20, but
I don't think I was supposed to get a cork board and just forgot.
But so that means we understand. Well, the corkboard was quintessentially supposed to be for the office, and like I'm still waiting for my realtor to pull stuff together, and we're just trying to do stuff and trying to do this all the most. I'm trying to do everything the most intelligent manner possible without taking the least amount of risk to get the most amount of gain. That's the way I function.
Interesting thing though, because I see both of y'all temperaments is like. He's very much like, do it yesterday. And you were like, hold on, wait. Like,
Oh yeah, no, we're
but
wildly
those-
different people.
yeah, it's like those two temperaments are like,
Complimentary.
they could be if you allow it to be. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I would say we function more so complimentary, because Tony's just like, we need to do this now, and I'm like, but we should make sure we know everything that we need to know before we jump.
Yeah, that'll hold you back for real. That's why
But-
I was saying like it's very complimentary, because you can help ground him a little bit, but he's also teaching you like you can't really move without information, because you never really gonna have it. The information gonna come when you get it.
Well, yeah, it's like I'll be sitting there with 90%, and then Tony's looking at me like, Charles,
Yeah.
not like 90% of everything. How much could this other 10% really? How much could this possibly actually hurt you at this point? It's like,
We're going.
so
I don't know what else to tell you.
it's like
Go.
we're gonna go now, but there could be an erroneous patch of ice over there.
But yeah, we're gonna
But
go.
that patch of ice is probably gonna get you either way.
Yeah, but we're just gonna go.
It's a speed bump at this point.
Yeah.
It's either gonna get you or it's not, or it could not be there at all.
And that would be the best case scenario. Yeah, hope for the best, plan for the worst, let you go. And so
And that's pretty much my mentality. For the most part, like for the most part, I know how we're gonna build all the recording studios. I know everything that we need to do everything. So in terms of that, I was like, I'm fully on board. I'm ready to. I already know. I know how much money we need to spend. I know all that stuff. Now we just got to get everything. I kind of want to make like a mini version of the recording studio inside of our space that we're going to be picking up, but that's really about it.
what about you, Ash? How are you feeling?
I'm okay.
That didn't sound okay.
No,
Need some.
I'm tired. Like I'm just tired. I don't know. It was a year. It was. I guess I'm getting to the space where you got a song for everything, my nigga. Okay, to this space where like you ever been through. Well, no, I feel really grateful for where I've been at, but I also I'm also recognizing that need.
Breathe in, breathe out for a second, and reset.
Yeah. And it's kind of like I said, I'm super grateful for every good and bad thing that happened this year. But I just need to regroup, I guess. And I just need just those little bit of space, just the time. It's not like a permanent thing or anything like that. It's just like I just need something. And I know that just taking a break from something would give help out with that. And yeah, that's it. I just recognized like, I'm gonna step back for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
For that day anyway. Or just from, like I said, I do got different goals from the store. Like I said, my store got shut down once or twice. And that's always stressful. So I just need to rethink about all. Yeah.
Gain perspective.
I think that's something that all of us probably have to do. While this year was probably one of the more productive years, like I said, in the last bunch. It wasn't without its
hiccups or
not even that. It's like every year has its hiccups, but it wasn't without its like continual stress and pressure. Like there was never an instance where the year felt like
something let up. Yeah.
Everything was like always in a pressure cooker situation. No matter if your life was fine, the world was always in like a state of
turmoil.
Yeah, and just dealing with people. Like with the whole, like even with just going in, like when I didn't wear my mask, one of the guys I dated this summer was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I was just annoyed only because I get it why you would be upset about that, but I'm not upset about it. So it was just kind of like, but just dealing with that, like now everybody's mind has changed. It's just different for different people how they dealing with stuff, and to go from that extreme from when your life is one way and then now the whole world has shifted and everybody's mind has been changed on something and everybody living from this one standpoint, you're just like, ugh, what the fuck? And then even your summer, like I had a good summer. I traveled a lot around Ohio. Had some really cool people. So I didn't have a bad summer, but you already knew like winter was gonna be pretty fucking iffy anyways. Like things look okay now, I guess. Maybe I don't know about for what we was living because I wasn't really like keeping track of how COVID was like rising up or down or anything like that.
It flattened out at about that point, and everyone at that point everyone wanted everything to open back up, and then they open back up, and now things can't really afford to shut down again because they have a lot of sunk cost again because you have to rebuy all the food, rebuy all the shit. And now it's just like we can't afford to do this again. Exactly.
And the people are so divided on the subject. It was just kind of, even if like when things were okay, like I said, when things were leveling out during the summertime, you still had to think about, well, what's going on with flu season? You know what I'm saying? And you still had that in the back of your mind. So that kind of helped out with the mentality. It's like, well, you just kind of got to enjoy it now. Like I said, I had a pretty good summer. So I wasn't really complaining about too much of what was going on. I still traveled around the state a little bit, but like when you go through and you just learn so much about yourself, like I'm not the same person I was throughout anything that happened this year, and just reflecting on that is something that I really can value, I guess. And
I mean, technically all of my goals pivoted this year. Like, I don't really desire the corporate job. I want one, but it's not the end all be all, and it's not my ultimate plan for security.
Yeah, like I don't even feel the same way about wealth anymore in the same way, the capacity that I thought it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ever just, for me, like I thought like dreaming about it was something, but I never really felt like I could have it. And then now that I'm thinking about it, it's like,
I've always dreamed about a certain degree of. I've always dreamed about living a certain life, and as long as I can accomplish that life with using my skill set, then, because it's something I talk to the older generations, like Generation X and then the Boomers about. It's just like they're all about getting money.
Yeah.
And that is it's just like, and I look at them and it's just like, are you happy? Well, I just got to get money to pay my bills, and that's just the way the world works. It's just like, just talking to both of those generations is just like, oh, this is how we all got here. Because we've had two generations concurrently, because the boomers came out of the Great Depression, so they were all just worried about money, and they instilled that. It's weird how you can have like one era determine so much about a pattern of thinking for such a long period of time, because like the Great Depression affected all of the boomers, and from the boomers it gets passed on to Generation X, even though like Generation X had a significantly better life than the boomers did, because like my dad pretty much had like the stereotypical picket fence, nice house, like living someplace that like the quote unquote black person life that you're supposed to have. Both your parents have master's degrees, your father has his doctorate, he's a psychologist, you guys are fairly well to do, you get a nice 3-bedroom house, everything's cool. It's 2 kids, boy and a girl. Your son mows the lawn, and he gets to travel out to like Barbados and pack through Europe and do all the good shit. And it's like, but even after doing all of that stuff, you still have this mentality where if I don't get all of this money right now, it could possibly be gone. And then what am I gonna do? There might not be any more money.
Yeah. Even after I don't think I necessarily am bound to a set amount. Like, this will make me happy. I'm not just on that one. I'm not really caring about a certain bag making me happy or anything like that. Because now what I realize is that I wake up in my days, I do what I want to do in my days. And that's all I've been striving for throughout my whole 20s. And now that's here, it's like, oh, I get it now. That I didn't really want this idea of wealth. I'll say it's like this idea of wealth that's been fed to us, that you gotta have the private jet, just whatever the fuck you see is on TV, this fantastical wealth thing. And that really changed for me.
Like the Kardashians. Like,
yeah, this cartoonish wealth where it's like these billionaire or whatever. Like, I just...
Like, don't you want this private jet? If you work hard enough, you can get this private jet. That's not... Honestly, I'm going to tell you, billionaire, you didn't get there there may have been some hard worker there, but a lot of it was dumb luck.
Even then, like, you gotta... Luck means preparation, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't believe like no billionaire didn't make his money, because even to maintain that much money and power has to have some sort of work. So I'm not gonna get in the benefit of the doubt that they didn't have it.
Depending upon how you got your wealth. If you earned your wealth, yeah. If the wealth was already there, you just inherited your wealth. Well,
and you got more, but I mean, I still don't take that away from nobody. I think like we got to get rid of that stigmatism that even though they were born into it, that they didn't have to go through their fair share of struggles. That's not really realistic to me, because I've given up the even having the resentment for rich people, because it's like, well, I'm mad at you because I feel like you had it easier, you got something I don't have.
I'm not per se mad at them.
Well, that's how I personally felt. That was me. I'm not saying nobody else feels that way, but I just recognized in me, like, oh, I get it now. Like, I don't know what the fuck they've been through to get where the fuck they are, and I really don't care. Like, it just, for me, it was like,
I'm not saying
fuck what you did.
I believe that probably a lot of these people, because there's a lot more, the expectations are just wildly different depending upon who you're talking to. Like, the expectations on me and probably the expectations on, like, I don't know, per se the person that everyone is antagonizing as of this point is Donald Trump. And it's just like the expectations that his father's probably had for him is like, his father probably never really liked him a day in his life. And there's certain things I got that he didn't got. Like, I know my parents love me. Your parents probably didn't love him.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, no. I mean, just from the overall description. Well, just because of the overall description of the family dynamic and the way he treats his own kids. Like, we have firsthand witnesses of him just open-handed smacking his son in his college dorm because he wasn't wearing a suit to a baseball game. Like, I don't think people who are emotionally well-adjusted do that to their sons.
I mean, I don't think my dad liked us. Like, me and my brother are stepchildren.
Your dad's not out here, like, slick back and open-handed slapping your son.
He might have. Yeah, but my daddy didn't like me. I don't think he liked any of us. He loved us, though.
Like you.
What? It's just
like you.
I mean,
No, he definitely. My father did
that's
not
super
like us,
positive.
any of us. Yeah, he did not.
like
Seemed like your parents liked you.
my parents. I mean, my parents like me.
Yeah, I don't
But
think
they
my
don't
dad.
have to.
Yeah, but I don't think
They
my
have to
dad
love
liked
you and
me.
take care of you. That doesn't turn into like liking you has to do with like your personality, how you get along with each other, things like that.
I'm gonna be 100% real. If you don't like your kid, your ability to like the rearing of your child, like you had a lot of effect on that. So what you're seeing is your child is probably a bit of a reflection of you. You're not liking the parts of you that are shining through in your kid.
Yeah, basically, he didn't like none of this shit. The father did not like us at all.
It's like, why are you acting like an alpha male? You ain't no alpha male.
I wish that it was like, oh, he treated my younger brother, because that's his biological son. I wish the fuck it was, I could just have a point of why this nigga was so mean. He treated us all like stepkids. I wish I could pinpoint like, oh no, he just treated the nigga better. No, he liked none of us.
I don't know. My father.
Why not just like kids? Like I don't like.
Yeah, he probably just didn't like teenagers or children.
Just tapping. I understand. There are ways of preventing yourself from having kids.
A lot of guys don't want to get vasectomies.
Oh, I mean, I was alluding to like condoms.
Most niggas ain't wearing condoms.
I guess this is how we end up inside it. It's just like,
Let me just be. I'm trying to be honest with y'all.
ooh, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. So, baby, I like it raw.
Just talk about it, huh?
Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, y'all. Yeah, give me your mic so I can take it away.
That's how you gotta go. But Tony's unhappy, and
How are you, Tony? Let's ask Tony. How are you?
Tony's unhappy.
Okay.
But he's working to find his happiness
Yes, very much so.
through
What does
action.
that mean, though, for you personally?
That's being very.
For me, it's realistically very rooted in direct action. I analyze, all right, what's making me unhappy? And then I figured out, all right, so this is what's making me unhappy. Now, that's not enough for me to take certain action. I had to figure out why this is making me unhappy. And once that why turned into, you don't allow me to be me and to engage in the things that I'm interested in working on to a level that I want to, because you require more of me than I'm willing to give, and you don't compensate me for that.
That's the wilder thing.
So it's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I recognize that that's what makes me unhappy, and so I'm going to remove that from my life.
I mean,
So mostly my journey is just getting to the point of it being like completely removed. Like I'm slowly trying to mentally divest and divest myself from the situation.
because whenever you leave that situation, you literally have to come in and actually decompress.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you normally, like, when you're leaving, that is the only situation when you walk in, you have to do that. Whenever you do anything
I got
else.
so frustrated one day. I threw a bag of unsalted mixed nuts at a truck. Yep. I was just frustrated. It was in my hand. I was just yelling, and I just chucked it at and it didn't go very far. Like, the nuts just fell all over the place. Like, it wasn't. But I was just angry, and it was what I had in my hand, and I threw it.
And at that point, you were looking at it like, this is absolutely unacceptable.
And like my assistants, like, they're like, yeah, you were frustrated. You should. They thought it was a snow. They're like, you threw a snowball at the truck. No, it was a snowball.
Bag
Right?
of unsalted peanut.
Yeah, it was just.
That,
It would be better if it was peanuts. It was mixed nuts. It was like pecans and almonds and cashews. And,
there were some decent nuts in
yeah,
there.
it was a whole bag just randomly, and I had planned to give it to the deer and everything, and I was just frustrated through that whole bag at the fucking truck. It didn't make it. It didn't hit the truck.
But they were still.
They got the point. They
That's
got the
funny
whole
as fuck.
fucking point. Tony was, and nothing that isn't mine doesn't benefit me in the long term. Doesn't
like it caused.
affect my life. Doesn't realistically produce happiness. Shouldn't make me get to that level.
But what is happiness though? Like, I feel like sometimes, and it's not to devalue your decision or anything like that, but I feel like sometimes we get caught up in chasing happiness that we don't really know what that means to us personally. And sometimes, I guess like for me, I think happiness is a fleeting emotion because that's the thing that keep you looking for the grass is greener on the other side. But for you, like, what does your happiness mean?
No, for me, happiness isn't like me chasing it. Like, I had happiness and it left because of this. So it's not that the grass is greener on the other side. I'm going back to what I already had. I had something, I was content and satisfied in that. I looked at something and said, oh, the grass might be greener on that side because I could make more money.
Okay.
That was the wrong thing. I sacrificed happiness for money. That I shouldn't do. And so that's where I was like, 'cause for me, happiness is me being able to focus at least 70% on, I'm gonna say, be honest, at least like 80 to 90% on what I'm trying to accomplish goal-wise.
And it's not even 80 to 90% of your time. It's more so 80 to 90% of your actual effort.
Capacity. I need my mental and my effort to be there. Like, my time can be divided up wildly into different things, but those things can drain me in such a way that when it comes to being productive for this show, when it comes to being productive for the other show, when it comes to being productive in writing, when it comes to being productive in moving my stories that I haven't even started writing forward, just in like the brainstorming process. I've literally not moved past this one point in like 3 weeks. And normally I would be on a whole new segment, and I just don't have the mental bandwidth to stay on it and like move it forward. I get halfway into it and then I fall asleep because I usually work on my stuff at night. So it's just not allowing me any of the things that I need to do that make me feel complete. So no, if I didn't know what would make me happy, and I was like, oh, this would make me happy, and I wasn't happy there, but let me quit this and go look for something else that would make me happy, I would completely agree. Because then, yeah, no, you're just bouncing around and looking, and so you don't really know. You might need to sit still and just figure out, all right, well, what actually makes me happy, what doesn't make me. But that's why I was like, all right, I didn't just walk away immediately. I was like, all right, so what about this? Like, if it was, all right, I'm unhappy because of the people that I work with, then I'd have stayed. But realistically, I don't give a fuck about either one of them. The two people that want my job that ain't got it, I don't give a fuck about them. And like the grand scheme of things, y'all don't affect anything in my world on a big enough level for me to be like upset that I have to work with both of y'all. Like, it's cool. We get the job done. One of you is high strung and the other one is mellow, but the job is done, and so it's whatever. But the fact that I can't, the fact that it wants the 90% is unacceptable.
Yeah.
It can have this 10, and this is a good 10 because you can get this 10% in like 20 hours of my work. But you can't get the 90% of my mental. It's just not my energy. My alignment has to be on
What you are.
what I'm doing. I have other goals, and like Charles was saying, like, I have a product line of like the games and shit that I want to start launching and everything, and one that's like basically fully developed, and I just need trivia questions. I want to go and get all the assets for that, but I haven't had time to go and like look
Do
at
it.
all my stuff and research it because I'm always on the computer researching or doing a bridge or something for something else. So I just fuck it. So yeah, so Tony has been wildly unhappy with that, and for a while I was like, I don't know why I'm unhappy, and so getting to the root of that was like the cause. And then also when other people recognize it, you know, like, you used to be so full of life, but you're slowly becoming a zombie. That is never something that I want to hear. Like, that is not the, like, that's not the person I want to be like. That's the lifestyle that I'm like, I don't know why you would stay in that life and just, you hate that you're miserable. And so I can't have that philosophy and then also be like, well, I'm going to stay here and hate it to be miserable and complain about my day every day, but then go back. No.
Because the funny thing about it is, you would think that having the increase in assets would push you forward, but you ultimately still stood still, because even though you have the assets, you now have one thing that you need in order to go forward. You can't go forward because you don't have the time to actually drive the fucking bus. So the bus just sat there, but it's always fully gassed up. What's the point of having the bus anyway?
Exactly. So that's where I'm like, yeah, y'all. And realistically, a lot of it was enjoying being back at I don't know what
A workplace?
Tax bracket, I guess, is the most accurate term. Yeah, like
Income level?
here we go. Income level. Like I've existed at about 70K for 6 years, 7 years counting this one. So going from that to like 30, 40K was a wild adjustment. Wildly adjusting.
Just not. When you're around 50 to 70K and you're like, as a single dude who made 50K, I was just like, I can do whatever the fuck I want whenever the fuck I want to, basically.
Yeah.
There's nothing tapping on my money. This is.
Oh no, you're right. Once you hit that 50K mark, but like I said, if I'm only at 30, I'm still missing $40,000. The amount that you can do with an extra 20 grand is nice.
It's appreciable. You can see a difference.
Like I can see that one check pays all my bills, and these other two checks are fucking checks. I can save all the money from one and blow the other one if I so choose to, and there's no negative repercussion in that. And so being back at that level was attractive to me, and so that's what I went after. That wasn't a good decision, but also recognizing that I made a bad decision and evaluating and self-evaluating and being like, hey, look, you put yourself in this situation, and so there's a little bit of accountability that you have to have on yourself. So yeah, no, two things are both definitely true. Like, you could definitely be chasing happiness, but that's not something that I would want to do. I'm not. And so I wasn't chasing happiness. Like I said, I was chasing that income level, and I shouldn't have been. I should have continued on my path of like, all right, these are the things that are making me happy, and goals are being met. Let me stay here where these goals are being met.
Oh, this is the reason why. I mean, this is quintessentially you saying don't make moves that are antithetical to your overall way that you want to move through your life. Because you looked at it and you said, oh, well, I made a move for be at a certain income level. That's never the way I choose to make my moves. Why would I do that? Nope. Well, going back to the way things used to be. And I can't really knock it.
Yeah, I never. That's what the thing I'm realizing now is, I was not focusing. I guess I flipped it to what really makes me fulfilled, and how could I do more of that, and how can everything around me that I build help me do more of the things that give me fulfillment. I don't care what it costs, because I know whatever that I want to do, the money will be there when it's time to do what I want to do. Like I said, travel is going to be a big thing for me, and I know once that gets up to whatever the fuck point, when I gets up there, I'm not necessarily worried about price tags. Now, if the universe has something in store with me where I could do like luxury travel and everything pans out and I could do it that way, that's fine. But I'm also okay with not doing it that way because I just want to do it. So now I'm focusing on, well, what brings me the most joy and fulfillment, and the things around me that I build, could it allow me to do that? That's my focus now. And now that I got so much deeper into knowing myself a lot more, I'm starting to see, like I said, it's just no time to waste anymore. And no, I'm okay with where I am. And like I said, I'm really grateful for all the bad moments, because it just led me closer to myself. Like, he just fully recognized how he thrives, and it took me a while to recognize like how I thrive, and just said, fuck it all, I'm gonna try something new that I've never done before. Because even before, when I quit my job, I remember trying to make it better. It was probably like October 2019. One of my drivers drove me home, and he was like, I just was like, yo man, I'm tired, I can't really do this anymore. He was like, what are you talking about? It sounded like a whole suicidal, like I'm giving up on life. And he was like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I can't do this. Like, it's a lot going on, and this job is all right, but it's not, it's just something about it that just make me miss all my days. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was pretty much suffering, and I kind of found a way to make it better, but it just wasn't getting better the way that I thought it would get better. So by the time he said that, he was like, I could tell like your spirit was gone from this shit. And I'm like, it sure the fuck was. And I remember hearing like these little nudges and these little, like, I'm gonna say voices. I was like, man, you should have been left. Like, I remember sitting in the conference room, and I just heard a voice say like, why are you still here? And I'm like, who? Huh? Like, I never understood where that, it was literally sitting there like, dude, I can't do this shit no more. And then it was like, well, why are you still here? And that was in December 2019. And then in March, when I handed in my 2 weeks notice, I was like, fuck it, let's see where this takes me. Worst case scenario, you'll find a job. Best case scenario, you will grow wings and you'll fly when you jump off this cliff. So which one? You already know 50-50 was gonna happen. So yeah, that is a decision. And like, I don't even know if I can tell people, like, you know how the adage is like, oh, make sure you build a side hustle, and make sure that side hustle becomes sufficient enough for you to live off of. I'm like, well, you could. You know what I'm saying? You could. Do you think like y'all could give somebody that same advice?
My advice is always do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, I went after money, so money wasn't what made me happy. So money is what makes you happy, yeah. But if it's not, then I'll get done.
I have this.
No,
I don't
recognize I have the luxury to say
that.
the money.
Yeah.
Like how my life is set up. But
I'm always looking for. That's the thing. I'm always kind of looking for fulfillment more than anything else, and I guess fulfillment and happiness are kind of the same thing. I don't always look at them as, but I always want to feel satisfied with what I'm doing.
that might be a more accurate description, like, because I know how just like the chasing happiness, how it could sound. So yeah, no, I don't feel fulfilled with this. This isn't like providing me. There's no like equivalent exchange on it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even when I was making it 50K, I wasn't really I was having honest conversations with people there and my main mentor about game development. It's like, this is honestly what I really want to be doing, but it's not realistic for me. Because in order for me to really get a game development job, I would have to move to Seattle or San Francisco or LA. Because they want you there already. They don't like to hire people from outside of the state. They want you there. So I would either have to make my own thing, which is the ultimate solution that I came up with, or move to one of those places. So, and my goal was, I'm still saving, but goal is to like save up enough and be like, well, if whatever I'm doing doesn't work out, just book it over there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And like, I know I'm always going to have a place here to live, so I have all I ever really have to do is have enough money to get back home. Mm-hmm. So basically the rule is just don't move with a bunch of stuff, like suitcase, maybe 2, go over there and just hash it out.
That reminded me of the time I got stranded in the desert. He was just talking about, I just have to make sure I actually had no money to get back home. That was bad. That just reminded me of that, but go ahead, continue.
Oh, I mean, that's just the way I function. But my ultimate goal is to just kind of make my own thing here.
Yeah, I can't tell nobody in good conscience to work. Just work your full-time job until...
I mean, if your full-time job makes you fulfilled, do it.
Yeah, but a lot of times, like, I'll just say in the room of what I'll be doing. A lot of people just, I want to break free. And, you know, they kind of romanticizing what being in business is like. Which is fine because, you, like I said, you only ever see somebody's chapter at 21. You're not really seeing nobody's chapter 1 when they first get started. But, I don't like romanticizing business at all anymore. Like I said, it's a lot of scary risks that you got to take. It's great, but for me, it's about paying a price. And I'm willing to pay this price than I was when I was doing before. There's just no time to waste no more. So I'm willing to pay the scary price of the end, and every month is just like, oh my fucking God, what? What am I gonna do? And it's all on me, but I also get to wake up and be like, I don't have to go and do any of this shit. I could just not work today and I'll be okay. I won't be bad, but I'll be alright if I don't do anything. Like, I could definitely just not do anything and just chill and YouTube it up on my phone all day and chill with Riley. Like, that's also an option, which is cool. That's not everybody else's life, but that's also me sacrificing. Like, are you gonna make money today? Oh boy. Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when you don't get nothing? Oh my fucking God. Then you go into the whole panicky thing. And I'm at the beginning stages, so I don't, like I said, this is not for the faint of heart at all.
I mean, business ownership isn't for everyone. That's also another thing that needs to be understood.
Yeah.
Everyone that
if
tells
you're not willing to pay that price of constantly being like, well, how the fuck am I gonna do anything?
I mean, I still feel like there's some amount of disconnect with my parents with that. It's just like, my dad's like, oh, so can we take this vacation? It's just like, I can, like, there's certain seasons I just can't leave in. Mm-hmm. And as an AC person, leaving in the middle of the summer, not the best time.
Yeah.
As a furnace person, leaving in the middle of the winter, not the best time. Holidays are fine because people don't want you in their house around then. So people don't typically call you unless it's literally like the worst thing ever. Like, what happened? My furnace exploded. So you need another one of those.
ASAP.
Yes.
Yes, please. Or the guy, forgot his name on YouTube, but he bought a laundromat last year. And that was one of my, like, ideas, is to buy a laundromat. It's a cash business, why not? But then, like, his shit kept getting vandalized. Because he in Ohio, too. His shit kept getting vandalized. It was just like... And I think he owned property, real estate. But I was so grateful to see the behind the scenes of that. Like, I think he bought it for somebody, so like all his machines was like shitty, so now he got to get it removed. Like I said, he was dealing with vandalizing his shit.
What they out here
what
doing
else?
The laundry machines?
His tenants left the house, and then he was left with like a $2,500 light bill. I forget what his name was. I think it's called like investment. Damn, I forget, but
okay,
just those things though. Like I said, we glamorize a lot of that stuff, but I'm glad it's people out there that's showing, like, this was not, or like one of the resellers that I follow on YouTube, what's her name? Hustle at Home Mom, I think her name is. Anyway, she was like, my first year, I didn't make anything, but it just gradually kind of grew from there. And I was like, oh, that kind of inspired me to take my stuff to the next level. And for me to just reevaluate what I was doing. But you don't see this shit. You know what I'm saying? Your pursuit. What price you willing to pay? I know my price. I'm willing to pay working 7 days a week. I'm willing to do that because going back to what I was doing before, it just wasn't an option no more, and it's just not for me anymore. So I'm willing to pay those prices.
Yeah. But
my twin.
yeah, I don't know what Charles is saying. He's had like 8 songs.
He just definitely zoned out and was like, fuck. I told you this nigga got a song for everything.
Oh, that's
Disassociating. Tisk tisk nigga. Anyway,
They're trying to get me back on like a 5 day a week thing. I am not the biggest fan of it because what I would do is I would do as much of my work as possible from remote, but I deal with customers that aren't always the most articulate about problems, so they need somebody on hand that they can tell a problem to and then go through the methodology of fixing it. And it can be a really simple problem, but they just won't say anything, and then they'll be like, well, why didn't you fix this problem? You never told me. So how do you expect? Well, you're never here. Bro, phones exist. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't pick up the phone and call people? No. I don't think about it because I'll be busy. What you doing right now? Nothing. Huh.
y'all see, being tired is a part of the process. So anybody that's potential going into business, you're going to be tired. But it's going to be a good tired, I think. Anyway.
It's not going to be that bone deep, empty weariness.
It's not going to be that, yeah. It's not going to be like, I'm definitely not getting paid for what I'm worth because I don't want to do this. This is not something.
Like Charles is tired and I'm here for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's energy.
I mean, this is more so dedication than energy. I don't think it.
Energy, not like you have like energy in your body, but like the energy or the spirit of like this is what we're doing.
No, it needs to get done.
Yeah.
It's like I've never just not showed up to a show. That's not something. Once I said like, all right, we're doing this. Yes, we're doing this. All right, we're doing it. And I've never really hit anybody with any kind of real excuse or anything like that. So, because I don't really like making excuses or anything of the such. It would have to be like a real bad time. It's just like, I gotta stay. Like, we had a snowstorm. It's just like.
Yeah, that's why.
We're supposed to make a business move that day.
We were supposed to go to the bank.
Nobody said shit. And I was like.
No. Tony worked the entire night in the snowstorm.
Oh, good for you.
Tony got out. It's just like, nah.
Went home and was like, no, I worked, it was Sunday until Monday.
Yeah.
I didn't work. I was up, knowing what was going on, knowing there was a snowstorm, hauling piles of stuff. And then there was drama from, I had to stay up until like 4 in the morning. And at 4, then there was more drama because
someone didn't
the power went out.
That's not drama. The power went out.
They treated it like the most horrendous event.
I mean,
All these people needed Jenny
One nigga is through.
Yes, I was.
He is so through with that place.
Came back in. 10.
yeah.
From 9 to 7. Then from 10 to 10.
Oh, yeah, man. Good old fashioned Vince Staples. Get the fuck off my dick.
Wait, no, back to what are you talking about? Like, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's go through something else. What are we talking about? Destructive behaviors?
Yes, what would y'all say is the most 2 destructive attitudes that you see in other people, or it ain't gotta be 2, it could be 1, whatever, that you would see in yourself and other people, or something you overcome? You say procrastination.
For me too. In myself too.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing? What is the thing that typically leads to my indecision? Like, being indecisive is like can be a death knell for you.
Bad impulse control. Those are my 2. Probably procrastination and impulse control. That's why it is good Charles is here.
See, I told y'all.
We
Just a
completely
nice-
and totally foil each other out in terms of what we're bad at.
it's a nice
It's like we need to
balance.
jump. What do you do? It's like the analogy I put is like if me and Tony were running away from the cops and our feet were handcuffed together, and he's like, "All right, we got to jump off this bridge to this thing." I'm sitting up there hanging on to it. It's like Tony's like, I'm jumping in 5. 1, 2, 3, but I'm not ready. 4. I could be sitting there holding it, but he just gonna sit there, shake while he's after he jumps off, like, motherfucker, you gonna come down here, like,
Yeah, get off.
get off the goddamn bridge. No,
Go.
no, I'm not letting go. No, you're gonna get us. You're gonna get us caught.
Well, we don't know what's
I'm
down
not gonna die.
Fuck it.
I know it's down there. It's water. We can both swim.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine. Let's go.
That's one of those things I admire about Tony. That's what made me for real quit. It's like, you either gonna do it or you're not. You know what I mean? It's like, you already know what's on this side, and so what's on the other side? It's not. It's whatever's here we don't want. Let's just go. You'll work it out.
1000% agree with that. Like on this writing shit, I'm like, you're either gonna do it or you're not. So I want to really like hunker down with Charles and like find like an artist. Even if it's not the guy that like does his own stuff, if he can put me in the right direction, someone that's like starting out that wants to like doesn't necessarily have their own story idea, but wants to like work on a story. I love that.
You want the comic book type of dynamic. You want to be the writer, and you want the other person to be the artist.
Yeah.
And that's what you're more so looking for,
Yes.
which is a possibility. But you got a lot of artists who are writing. You end up in the Tite Kubo situation. Like, all your art looks really, really great, but bro, did you really think about this story? I didn't. I just wanted to draw cool shit. It's like, you need that dude, except for like, but you need Tim to team up with you so he doesn't have to worry about
the story part.
So
I want to sit down and really get on that, because the way that I want to express the story that like I've been brainstorming and trying to like really get world mapping, and like that's a portion of the world that I map out. Like I really want to get into like that story and tell it the right way. I want to do the short story that would be like akin to Monsters.
oh,
Where it's gonna be set hella in the past, but it is very much canon.
Oh, you just want to do this kind of time movement thing because you have a situation, because that's always an interesting thing to do creatively. And maybe that's a whole nother podcast idea that we can technically do with everybody that's inside of this room, but we can talk about that off air. I don't know if Ash wants to do a whole nother podcast.
She probably doesn't have the mental bandwidth to be like, yeah, let me think about that right now.
I know. I'm gonna be real honest with you.
It's like you're approaching me at the exact wrong time. I'm talking about taking a mental bandwidth break, and then you about to say, "Hey, let me text your mental bandwidth some more." That sounds like the inverse of what I need right now.
No,
Charles, why aren't you thinking about my well-being?
That I could think about that, but I'm not going to. Okay.
Like I said, procrastination. Like I literally know how I want to end the first half of the short.
You should always know your ending when you start.
Well, I know the full ending, but you know how like when you're writing the details of what's coming up.
The minutia.
Yeah, and so I didn't know how I was going to get through a scene and get in transition into the position that I wanted the story to go into for the next phase of the next half. And so I was stuck, but then I figured it out, and I have a very clear idea, and I started part of it, and then I've just been procrastinating.
I mean,
that turned into this situation, which has been fuckery, and I'm like, all right, so no. One, you got to get out of this. Two, you need to not procrastinate, because procrastination can lead to you actually just not having it and then losing it. That inspiration.
And procrastination just breeds mediocrity for real.
oh,
You
you have
rushing
a writer's
through that
notebook,
shit.
like a composition notebook or something that you carry around with you in your book bag?
No.
I would do that. That's something that's very important.
Well,
You have your phone.
Everything in here. Like, there's, like, notes on all the stories. Anytime I have an idea, I go to the place in here that it needs to be. That's what gave me the idea for the app, because none of these function the way that I need them to.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those things where that's just kind of the way creatively that I am. I view things depending upon what I'm making. If I'm making a story, like if you guys don't know, or if you follow me, I'm really big into D&D. I'm a dungeon master and all that other stuff. The way I build that is completely and totally different from the way I build video games. In a video game, I build them. If I have a mechanical concept, I will build everything else around this mechanical concept, and I will skew those mechanics to kind of get things to kind of line up. Inside of a story, it's just like, I have this story I want to tell, and this is how we're gonna, and then I go about it. Because ultimately, I'm just putting some mechanics to a world. So, but I always build everything to be played in. I don't typically just write out and out story. But there are some authors that I'm following that, like, self-publishing is way easier now than it probably ever was.
Yeah, I want to start writing some scripts and stuff. Like, there's some other stuff I want to do. But back to this question. My other thing, impulse control. I can just look around and see, like, Tony has impulse control.
Tony is a whole person who waited.
43-inch TV sitting on my floor.
I don't think that's terribly impulse control. You just bought a 43-inch TV that you planned on buying a long time ago.
But it's sitting in the box. It's not like I bought it because I needed it. So that's what I mean. Like, my impulse is like, I want this. I'm going to get it. There should be a stronger checks and balances besides that. I want this. Okay.
I mean, if you have disposable income like that, that can be literally, that's a bad habit to get into when you don't have the money. It's just like, I want it. All right, I bought it. Fuck, I have a bill to pay.
It's something that, in general, could be destructive. Like, yeah, I have the disposable income, but it doesn't mean that it's best utilized on that. I could have made better decisions. I mean, granted, I bought this for like specific reasons. I needed a bigger screen. This small screen is irritating. I want both screens to be relatively equal in size. I want a newer screen for the new system that I want to stream on. So yeah.
Wait, I thought you were gonna take this one upstairs.
I'm gonna take this upstairs.
Okay.
So this is gonna be dedicated completely to the computer.
Okay.
This is going to be dedicated completely to the
console stuff.
Console, yeah. And then if I can get a miniature, like a smaller screen in the middle, that'd be the Mac Mini where I do all of the like music and everything like that. That's why I want to get a real desk.
I mean, at that point you need a real desk. Yeah.
I think also a real desk would just
increase your productivity.
Would increase like the efficiency of this space over here where we have like all these wires like jumbled. Like, so I just think a desk, having them like on a shelf, being able to like,
there's certain things that are just actually frustrating to me that I can't change as we have it set up.
Yeah, so like those are things that I'm like, all right, we procrastinated, and like I've moved stuff around as much as I could at this point. Like, we've tried plenty of different combinations of where everything in the room has been, and as though I like the setup the most, I still think that it could be more efficient if I just went out and like, fuck it, all right, this gotta go, and I'm gonna get a desk.
But like, what's
a long desk?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, since you always use your TV, and I plan on doing more video editing at home, when I get my desktop, I might steal the speakers that we have over there, because we never actually use them here. Because if I'm going to do editing, I'm going to do editing at home. But that's all inside of the itinerary. I think those are attached. There's a sub over there somewhere, I do believe. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It's been a while. But anyway, what's my other... I mean, I guess it's procrastination, but...
It gotta be two, but like, you know, if you can't come up with another one, I'm not gonna be like, give me another one, motherfucker.
I mean, I will procrastinate, but there is always a point at which I just... It's still technically destructive because it leaves me putting the pedal to the metal and like depriving myself. Like, getting something done requires a sacrifice in another category every single time when I procrastinate. It's just like, I can't do it. Why? Because I got to do this other thing. and I never really, when I procrastinate, I never really have stuff squared away. Like for the development stuff that I'm doing for the web application, I am typically ahead because I try and be ahead. But whenever I get behind, I get real fucking behind. It's just like a pile of work as tall as my head. I'm either ahead or I'm really behind. I'm never a little bit behind. Like,
yeah, that's me. It's like, it's never like in moderation, like working steadily progressing. It's either, all right, you are blowing through and you're chugging along, great pace, you're ahead of schedule, or you're like,
what happened
today, and then that day turned into 2 weeks, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But I think that's also like a part of being a creative and just recognizing that the way your energy flows is different than the way it flows for other people who are like more traditionally grounded and working. I don't know if they find fulfillment in it, but are more focused on the energy, the cycle of I wake up, I go to work, take it off, I have my time off, and then I go to sleep, and I wake up again, I go to work.
Oh yeah, that's
and
like,
for me, it's
that's the worst.
And like, yeah, so, but people find like enjoyment in that like cycle of comfort, and for me it's like, and their energy seems like less of a, oh, this week, it seems like their energy, it has to be scheduled off. It's like, oh, I'm going to take this vacation on this time, and so my energy is going to stay at this, like, never euphoric level that I would say artists reach, but an even kill of, like, we're going to be at this neutral. We're going to go. And then now we're on vacation, and we can decompress and everything, and recharge for this next, like, stint of, like,
monotony.
Work. Yeah. And for me, I feel like artists were more like, I feel this. So
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, and then once I don't feel it, it's like, I want to do that, and I need to do that, but I don't.
I should practice my hula hoop dancing.
That's what I'm.
That I get paid for $5 million a dance for, but I don't want to anymore.
Yeah, no, my friend was telling me about how, cause like I said, he had a music studio and he sold it. And he was like, when I got into it, he was like, that's when I turned my hobby into like a job, and that's when I started to hate that shit. That's when he ended up selling his studio. And that's why I'm worried. Like, that's why I'm not too
heavy on turning writing into something really big.
Yes. I'll say that. It's short, I guess, in short, because it's not like, you ever know like something that you're supposed to do? And I know writing now is something that I'm supposed to be doing. So it's not a question or when or any of that shit. It's just something that you just gonna do. And I'm gonna really try to be good at it. And I'm gonna develop my skill. And I'm gonna put out work that I'm proud of. That's a guarantee. All the other stuff about making it and all that junk, it's not, I don't know if it's guaranteed to me. I really don't know. But I'm not gonna harp on that because that's a pipe dream. That's something that's like, worrying about like the wealth and the fame and the notoriety is something that I'm not focused on. I'll say that much. But as long as I get to move how I want to move, like I said, my friend showed me he did what the fuck he wanted to do all this year, and he done been in the upswing of business and he been in the downswing of business. So all the other shit where people just had this like cartoonish thing of how wealth is supposed to look, I've done away with that, and now I'm a little bit more focused on what makes me more fulfilled rather than this dream that I'm chasing. So I'll say that, but my two attitudes would be probably, for me, I do agree one of them maybe arrogance is very destructive, because I had to deal with pride all this year. Like, I had to deal with how much pride I was carrying around, just thinking that I knew something and then realizing I don't know anything at all. And David R. Hawkins, in his book called Letting Go, The Pathway to Surrender, he talked about pride, and he said if you still have an amount of pride with you, that means you still have a vulnerability inside of you that you don't want nobody to see. And that helped me put in perspective. It's like, well, what don't you want people seeing? What don't you want people taking away from you? I had this dream that helped me realize, like, how shitty I was with my pride. I used to work in real estate where I had to maintain foreclosed property. So I was in charge of looking at damages that was done on the property. And depending on what type of loan they had, we would send out contractors to go fix those. But I had to identify the damages on these properties. So in the dream, for some reason, Ash thought that just because she knew the very little that she knew, that in the dream, I'm trying to fix structural damage. Like, literally, the house is off the thing in the dream, and, like, the bricks and everything is just gone. And in the dream, I'm like, no, I know how to fix this. I can do this. I know it. Bitch, what do you don't know anything. I'm just really stubborn. Like, some guy was telling me, like, Ash, you know you ain't got to be down here anymore, right? And I'm like, no, I can fix it. You cannot fix this. Get out the basement. You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea. Just because you saw pictures of it and shit don't mean you actually know how to fix the structural damage in this house. And then I had another dream where I forgot that dream, but there's pretty parallel. It was pretty much because recalling it is gonna be hard. Because this one I was doing pretty much the same thing but different. It was like I was trying to figure something out and then I wouldn't let it the fuck go. Like, I was like, no, it has to be this. I know it's this. Da 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 da. Y'all can't convince me otherwise. Then that's when I woke up like, all right, I've had 2 dreams about this shit. I have a real big issue with my pride, like not wanting to deviate from a path. I know it's this way and it can't be no other way. My stubbornness too really fucked me up. Those 2 things was my biggest fucking issues of this year. And doing away with those things really helped. But man, once you realize how much pride you got and how stubborn you are, and like when things change and now you don't want to go back and how you just don't want to admit like I don't know, that was a big thing. That was, I think, maybe towards the last leg, like I don't know, trying to just like, I've seen my father struggle with this where he just don't know how to do something and then half-ass do a job, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to admit like you can't do this and you don't want to pay nobody else to do it. So now like the job is half-ass done and this is going to be a bigger problem in this long run. But that was one thing. So I will say my arrogance in thinking that I knew something and this was it and it's not going to change and whatever the fuck, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. You can't tell me. That was one of my biggest issues that I learned about myself this year. And then I would say the other one is the lack of confidence. Because
that can be a killer.
Yeah, I didn't I had all these big ideas, but would quickly talk myself out of these big ideas. I think we was talking one night like, oh man, I really want to write such and such. I was like, no, I don't think I can do it. And Tony was like, I think you could do it. Just hearing that was like, oh, okay. Like, for me growing up, not that I say nobody could never tell me, but those things were never like brought to like like I never really had like anybody there to say like, you can do this. It was always like, well, you can go work. Like, my mom's biggest thing was like, my mom worked for AT&T for like almost 30 years. And her biggest thing was like, well, why don't you just go work for AT&T? Like, I don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So nobody was never like fueling the creative part of me. I don't know if they just didn't know, but nobody was ever fueling that burning part of me that was like needed that attention. So for so many years, I just thought it was just something to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely understand that sentiment. I don't know.
I have 2 very different mentalities. Because my mother gets to work for fulfillment because my father works for the dollar. Mm-hmm. And it's very split. Because my mother got to be a social worker, and she actually got to the point where she was making a decent amount of money. But she got to the point where it's just like, well, I can't find a job doing what I want to do, so I'm gonna go do this thing that makes grossly less money, like not even a third of what she was making before, but it's gonna lead to the position that I really want to have, and I can just do that. And like, but my father is very much, you gotta do what you gotta do in order to pay the bills, and it's just like, But my father got to do so much more earlier on inside of his life that I can understand, where he's just like, I had this large period of 30 years of fun in my life.
Yeah, that's pretty
like,
fair.
I had 30 years of solid fun. It's like, I had my Mustang, I had double wide tires on the back, I got to go backpacking through Europe, I got to do all this wild stuff. Honestly, I got to do basically all the stuff that I pretty much ever really wanted to do already. I've seen the places, I've done the things.
Yeah.
Like, so.
I can understand that. I'm not saying I'm like had that type of lifestyle, but it's also noticing like, okay, I've been through the whole him and Han on what I should do. I've been through a decent amount enough relationships where it's like I know myself better now to where it's like, all right, I'm done dealing away with things that is not giving me what I want or need. And now, like, I guess like a fun time is over for me. Even though I'm like I said, I never did all that, but I'm just not in a space where like I don't care about fun anymore for real. Not fun, like, I want the things that do bring me fulfillment, but just like the weed part is over with. Like, I still approach my shit with a very like, I had to learn how to go with the flow and not think that things are set in stone. I'll say that much. But I do enjoy the adventure of life and not being afraid to get on that adventure. I'll say that much.
Why'd you have to say the words "go with the flow"? Thanks a lot.
Nah. I don't.
I'm gonna listen to Queens of the Stone Age on the way home.
All fucks with Queens with the Stone Age.
Everyone
Which
fucks
one?
with it. Go with the flow. It's just like, I believe it in your hand. Little soldier zero.
You guys completely threw me off.
Sorry.
Say what you said again.
I think I'm at this stage where it's like, it's not so much.
Oh, about fun. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'm more like Charles's mom, where it's not necessarily about the dollar, but it also is for me. Like, I try to keep an even kill of both, where I recognize like it's not, but certain values have to be reached, just so that sustainability is achievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't neglect it. Like I said, I'm not neglecting none of that part, but it's also not at the forefront.
Yeah, no, it's just, for me, it's like, I guess, I wouldn't say it's all about the fun now, but it still is about the enjoyment of it.
Like, when we get the recording studio, I expect us to have like fun in the recording studio in our way.
Not fun, but like hapless pursuits.
Enjoyment.
Like, I would say, like, I don't know how you spent your 20s where it was just like, it's just bitches and just random, like you said, like Mustangs traveling and all that shit. I could say, like I said, I didn't live that lifestyle, but just kind of going with the minutia, just living from these lower outer experiences. Like, I gotta have like I said, the Mustang, or I gotta have a certain type of dude, or I gotta have these certain boxes that I'm putting myself in. And then once you live in those things, like this year's like, oh, wait a minute, I got what I wanted and I bought what I wanted when I wanted it. And if it wasn't when I wanted it, I would just have to plan it out a little better. But usually, for the most part, most of the things I wanted this year, I had got. Like now, like this year, like I was super proud that I could afford to buy every one of Riley's cousins and her cousins a gift. Now, it was only 6 of them, but that's still for me, that was a goal that I wanted to do for a very long time.
I mean, if you're spending like $25-$50 a kid, that's still $300 worth of gifts.
That was in my budget, but still, I didn't have a number. Like, I knew, well, I had a number, but I also, that was a goal that I got to do. And I got to see, like, oh, what does that mean? Like, I guess redefining what it means to do what I want to do and honing in on that and being specific about it is what I should be saying this whole time. Because that was a goal and I never really got to achieve that goal. And this year I did.
Well, yeah, I think you definitely have to be intentional.
Yeah, like I wasn't really specific. Well, I want to do what I want. Well, what does that mean? Even in the realm of, I'll take it back to manifestation. when people ask for financial stability, what the fuck does that mean? You want your finances right now to be stable because that's what you're asking for. Gotta be a little bit more specific when you're sending out those intentions in the universe. And that's what I had. Abundance. All right, you want like
degree of 2,000 to the power of what I got.
2,000 to the power. See, that's the thing.
Pretty specific.
If I get to produce what I want and I put it out there and it is profitable and I'm able to do the next thing that I want to do, that's really all the money.
Yeah, but even saying it's profitable, I make a profit. Like I'm saying, like
if I could do what I want to do and it sustain me to the next thing, to continue to live the way I want to live and produce the things I want to do, and they just, all right, you did this and this was a 70,000 watt for the next year, or if it's something that was like a major thing, you just hit a 140, like $1 million watt, so you're gonna be cool until you produce your next thing for a while.
right.
And then just work on whatever I want to work on and just be in the minutia of myself and like the people I'm around and like family and like friends and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because I think more of the lifestyle that I'm into. Like I want to be able to like, and I want the people around me to be able to like take off from like 2 days, 3 days before Thanksgiving to like the start of the new year.
Yeah, I mean, like we do like to think of, we don't work from this point to this point because we don't have to.
We're just gonna go to the compound and
We work for ourselves inside of that point in time. We don't work for you guys. It's family time. It's time for us to pull ourselves back together, get our goals together for next year, and then like start next year and work those like first 11 months.
yeah.
And then do it again. So that means we make sure we stay in perspective. Because
I just think that would be that. The ability to do that isn't something that people really have. Like, I'm just going to take this amount of time off, and also the people around me are going to be able to take this amount of time off. And we're just going to enjoy each other and not even worry necessarily about it being a specific holiday, but us just having like, all right, this is generally when everything else kind of slows down, so it's generally the best time to like move away, because like most shit is closed during the holiday season and everything like that, except for like retail stores. But everything else is like slowing down there this time of year and things like that. So
yeah, unless you have like some grindy type of person who wants to be doing something during that point in time, because they don't really have too much else.
I mean, shit, even if you want to, all of like financial sector is kind of there, but they got one foot out the door and waiting for Christmas to hit. And, like everybody's just kind of like half in, half out, waiting for like the new year after things.
Well, yeah, because no one's giving out any money at that point, really. Like, yeah, there's going to be sales and stuff like that that's going on, but no one's actually like, we're waiting to see what our budget projections are.
Yeah, everybody's chilling. Like, it's a time of recess for like the world in general. So just being able to like turn that into something or a space that's better, I think is interesting.
True.
Jesus Christ.
You better stop procrastinating.
I got better at that. Like I have 4 different planners now. I had it all year, but I have 4 planners.
I bought it and I didn't use it because it's fuck ass job.
I have 4 planners.
Oh.
I got one for my one for like personal, just like, oh, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck. I'm gonna make time for art and all this other junk. And then I got a financial one because obviously I gotta keep track of that shit. I got one for my homeschooling and then one for work. So I put everything down and I write it down and I tick it off as I go. And more importantly, I need to make sure it gets done rather than what day is done. Because some days, like I said, some days just be like, fuck it, I don't know. Like this week, I definitely...
Really kick-ass digital planner.
Huh?
Nothing. It's just like, I'm having an idea. I'm having an idea.
You do that a lot on like for no reason.
Oh no, it's like you just rattle things off as just like, this would probably be good.
I keep all that shit separated and I tick it off. I go through a whole literal like Saturdays and Sundays. I'm usually planning for the next week. Homeschooling, all that shit. It usually gets done from Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, depending on what I missed. Meals, everything gets planned out, so I'm not scrambling around at the last minute trying to figure out what the fuck to do. I had to learn that, and I got it all separate, so I'm looking at 4 different planners all fucking day. I usually set time and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this, and this, or this gotta get done. So procrastination is something I like I said, Riley's birthday party helped me realize, like, this came out none of what I wanted it to be, but that's something that I definitely worked on, and I think I made improvements with.
I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, me too.
I think next year is pretty much going to be when we actually get a lot of the fruits of our labors from this year.
Yeah, Nipsey also was talking about that. I forgot the fuck interview, what the fuck he was talking about. But he was like, for 2 years, I just went hard and did my music. And then he was like, all of a sudden, it started to come full circle where I was starting to see some of that shit pay off. And he asked himself, well, why did that happen? He was like, oh. He was saying, like, that's all my karma I had did for 2 years. And now I get to actually finally see it. Yeah, I get to finally see what I put in. Like I said, I'm not guaranteeing that for nobody else, but I'm damn sure not telling nobody not to sit there and not at least try. Like I said, confidence is one of the biggest hindrances I had to deal with, and you just go for it. I don't know if I had to convince myself, but like I said, it was always like, well, what's over here? Do you want what's over here? You're not satisfied with that, so just take a little leap. See what happens. You either gonna go ring, so you're gonna fall flat on your ass. Either way, you're gonna learn something. So you just kind of, and what was that book, the audio book I was listening to? Thinking Big or some shit like that. He said that action cures fear.
Big Rich and Bro.
No, not that one. I'm gonna get it, guys. I put it in an audio playlist. Magic of Thinking Big by some nigga. And
you don't get no credit.
Y'all can Google it. It's on YouTube. I got it on the playlist. Because the magic of thinking big. And I knew one of my issues was like, I thought so small of myself. I didn't think my talents was good enough, or I didn't think that I could get what I wanted. I just never felt worthy of the things I was asking for. And that book kind of sort of helped me out. I didn't get through the whole thing, but I did listen to most of it. But the biggest thing that I got out of it was your action kind of cures your fear. So it's no way to get around that. I wish it was. I wish it was a way where one day you could just wake up and be ready to tackle some shit. You not. The way you get over shit is just by talking, whatever the fuck, whatever you're scared of doing it, you just gotta kind of do it. There's nothing, my niggas. Ain't no fucking cure for that shit. Just do it. You'll be fine. Because at the end of the day, you can say you still tried. If it all goes to shit.
It's very true.
Man, I'm over here. I helped my best friend move yesterday. I'm
tired.
Because it's my best friend and you help people move. It's just like, I did it for you and you weren't even. I helped your family move and you weren't even in the same state.
Yes.
So you're over here like, why would you do that?
No, not why would you do that. Just not like I chastise him.
It's one of the things that I do. I look out for the people.
Like, why would you waste your energy like that?
I don't think it's a waste of. I did. So.
Just Charles is the mover guy.
I don't know, but so as of right now, for every single phrase, whenever it actually hits a point where it's just like song lyric, the full randomness of my head is turned on right now. But I also tend to have pretty good ideas inside of this situation.
That's good.
So it's just like, oh, I wonder if like what I said earlier is just like, I wonder if I can do this. I probably can. I should do that.
Did you have another topic, or were we?
No, you niggas is tired. Everybody in this bad boy tired. Mentally,
it's time to
physically.
play that
It is
Hit
okay
me with
if
that
it is
Pursuit
a
of Happiness.
short a pod today. No
It's
one
really
is
not
going
short.
to.
We're about to hit an hour and a half.
I don't know. Usually I think it's a certain way. But nah, I am thoroughly.
So what's everybody's plans
Content.
for this upcoming week?
What do I got to do this week? I forgot. I wrote all that shit down and don't remember none of it.
That's the reason why you use planners.
I forgot it. I don't know. Stuff. Worky stuff. I got trainings to do that I need to complete. I got studying to do. Yeah, nobody tell you about that about business. How much studying you got to do. You don't know shit. Like, you got to study like fuck. It's continuous studying.
First bit, a little bit, roll it up, take a hit, and then like 2 a.m. summer night. Can't no run, and I'm drunk, I'm doing my thing.
I'm not pursuing happiness. Fuck that bullshit.
What?
That's like chasing heroin. I'm not doing that.
What I want, I'm gonna end up turning
Lightly skip after that bad boy.
No chasing that.
I'm about to chasing happiness, nigga. That will have you like a crackhead. I don't even run from the bus, and I know I'm be late. When I had to ride the bus, you ever run after the bus and you know damn well you
Never
got
a day
to,
in my life.
Never. You just be like, well, it looks like I gotta make that phone call.
Phone call to who? Are you calling your parents
Well,
to come
remember
grab you?
when I wasn't driving and I was taking the bus to work, I'd be like,
Catch you guys next week.
Yeah. Make sure you like, subscribe, all of that other good shit. Share with a friend.